At 7 o'clock on a Thursday morning, $8,740 lands in a checking account. For about 3 minutes, the balance looks fantastic. Then the money starts disappearing. $3,260 mortgage, $1,180 for 2 cars, $1,450 childcare, $620 insurance, $480 toward credit cards, utilities, phones, internet, subscriptions, a furniture payment they barely remember signing up for. By lunchtime, most of that $8,740 already belongs to somebody else. Then, at 2 o'clock afternoon, the mechanic calls. The transmission is going, $2,900, and suddenly a household earning well into 6 figures is staring at a repair estimate thinking, we can't pay this. Not comfortably, not without moving something. So one credit card gets checked, then another. Maybe the repair shop offers financing. Maybe the electric bill can wait until payday. Think about how strange that is. A 6-figure income, a normal car repair, and one bad afternoon is enough to make the entire month wobble. No gambling problem, no luxury yacht, no catastrophic financial mistake. Their life simply became expensive enough that nearly every dollar they earn is required to keep it running. And that exposes a number we almost never talk about. Not salary, not net worth. The distance between what comes in and what your normal life requires before you get another choice. That's financial margin. And we only need that definition once, because what matters now is what happens when that distance starts disappearing. The Federal Reserve found that in 2025, only 41% of adults said they always or often had money left over at the end of the month, which means for most adults, consistently reaching the next month with money still unclaimed was not the normal experience. So how does a household earning this much end up here? Go back 7 years, income is $78,000. The house is smaller, 1 car payment. Vacations are simpler. Restaurants are occasional. They aren't living cheaply, but most months end with about $900 still sitting there. Then comes a promotion. Finally, more money. So they move somewhere a little nicer. Another raise comes 2 years later. The old car is replaced. Then a second vehicle makes life easier. Then daycare. Then the neighborhood improves. Then vacations get better. Then delivery stops being a Friday night treat and starts becoming what happens when everyone is tired. Then a few subscriptions. Then lawn service. Then the upgraded phone plan. Nothing feels reckless. That's what makes this dangerous. Every decision makes perfect sense on the day it is made. Can they afford the bigger house? The bank says yes. Can they afford the SUV? The dealership says yes. Can they afford another $70 subscription? Obviously. Can they afford restaurants more often? Of course. 7 years later, income has more than doubled, but the $900 that used to survive an ordinary month has almost vanished. Salary went up. Financial flexibility went down. That's the contradiction. More income does not automatically make your life easier. It gives you the chance to make your life easier. You still have to keep some of it. Watch how easily that chance disappears. You receive a raise that adds $700 to monthly take-home pay. That should be meaningful. But the newer car takes another $230. The nicer apartment takes $250. Subscriptions and services absorb $80. Restaurants and delivery creep up $100. $660 gone. Your income improved by $700. Your actual financial position improved by $40. 40. You got the promotion. You took on more responsibility. You probably worked harder. And somehow you purchased a more expensive version of almost exactly the same financial life. This isn't just theoretical. In the Fed's 2025 household survey, 32% of adults said their family's monthly income had increased from the year before, but 35% said their monthly spending had increased. More households reported spending moving up than income moving up. That's how progress disappears without looking like failure. And here's the part most people don't notice until something goes wrong. The expenses that do the most damage usually don't feel expensive. A $1,200 television feels expensive. You see $1,200. You hesitate. You compare models. You read reviews for 3 days. But an extra $200 on a car payment, that feels manageable. It's only $200. Except the television gets paid for once. The car upgrade comes back next month. And the month after that, 3 years of that extra $200 is $7,200. 5 years is $12,000. And that's before the higher insurance, financing cost, registration, or whatever comes next. The dangerous expense isn't always the one that hurts when you buy it. It's the one that quietly reserves part of every future paycheck. Housing does this, cars do it, debt does it, financing does it, recurring services do it. And once enough future paychecks have already been promised away, your salary starts arriving pre-spent. That's when the mechanic's phone call becomes interesting, because $2,900 is not really testing whether you have $2,900. It's testing how quickly your financial system can absorb $2,900 and return to normal. Suppose an ordinary month leaves $1,500 available. A $3,000 surprise hurts. Of course it does. But 2 normal months can rebuild the damage. Now suppose the ordinary month leaves $250. Same emergency. Same $3,000. But now that bill represents 12 months of spare cash flow. The mechanic charged the same price. Financially, those households did not receive the same bill. One received an interruption. The other received a new problem. And the Fed's latest household data shows why this matters. 59% of adults reported at least one major unexpected expense during the previous 12 months. The single most common category was a major vehicle repair or replacement, reported by 30% of adults. And when asked about a hypothetical $400 emergency, only 63% said they could cover it entirely with cash or its equivalent. Life does not ask whether this is a convenient month for your car to break. Something always happens. Car, roof, dental work, insurance deductible, last-minute flight, broken appliance. The surprise itself isn't unusual. What matters is what the surprise creates next. Because if there isn't enough unused cash flow, the $3,000 repair becomes a credit card balance. Now you have a monthly payment, which means next month's breathing room gets smaller. Then another surprise arrives. More borrowing. Another payment. Less room. Do you see the loop? Small cushion. Unexpected expense. Debt. New monthly obligation. Smaller cushion. Next unexpected expense. More debt. A household can enter that cycle without suddenly becoming irresponsible. The system simply loses the ability to absorb normal life. And emergencies aren't even the most expensive consequence. Here's where the stakes change. That same monthly structure decides how much control you have over your career. Your boss changes. The company changes. The job you used to tolerate becomes miserable. Sunday afternoon now feels like Monday has already started. You want out. Then you remember what next month costs. Mortgage. 2 cars. Childcare, insurance, debt. Everything was built around this salary. And suddenly the impressive income reveals its other side. You don't just earn it, you need it. That's a very different relationship with money. Because once your lifestyle requires the salary gains power over you. Maybe another job would be healthier, but pays $20,000 less. Can't do it. Maybe you want 3 months to retrain for something else. Can't do it. Maybe your manager crosses a line and you want to leave tomorrow. You can't. Your bills have already voted, and they voted for you to stay. This is why the first level of financial freedom isn't retirement. It isn't a beach. It isn't never working again. It's much smaller. It's being able to say, no, I don't need to keep this job at any cost. No, I don't need the first offer that appears. No, I don't need to finance this repair. No, one bad month does not control the next 6. That's when money starts becoming power instead of decoration. But there's another reason people keep surrendering that power. We adapt to upgrades ridiculously fast. The nicer house feels incredible for a few months. Then it's just home. The new car feels amazing. Then it's the place you sit in traffic. The premium phone becomes your phone. The better vacation becomes what vacations are supposed to look like now. The emotional benefit fades. The payment doesn't. That's a terrible trade if you keep repeating it. Temporary excitement. Permanent overhead. Then the next raise comes. And because the previous upgrade now feels normal, the next upgrade has to be slightly bigger. This is how someone can move from $70,000 to $100,000 to $150,000 and keep asking the same question at the end of the month. Where did it all go? The numbers changed. The feeling didn't. So here's a test. Imagine your take-home pay drops 10% next month, not 50%, 10. What happens? Do you simply save a little less? Invest a little less? Eat out less often? Or does something immediately need to move on to a credit card? That question reveals something salary cannot. Try another. If your income stopped tomorrow, How quickly would your current lifestyle become impossible? Not your emergency survival version where you cancel everything and live on beans. Your actual life. The house, cars, insurance, food, debt, everything. And one more. Think about your last meaningful raise. How much of it still exists? Not how much you earn now. How much of the increase actually survived lifestyle expansion? That's the number most people never calculate. And this is where one decision can completely alter the trajectory. Imagine your next raise adds $800 a month after taxes. You could spend the full $800. Life gets nicer. Nothing obviously bad happens. Or, before the first larger paycheck even arrives, you decide that $500 of that raise will never become lifestyle. You still keep $300. You feel the promotion. You enjoy some of the money. But $500 remains untouched every month. That's $6,000 the first year. If $500 a month were invested and hypothetically earned an average 7% annually, after 10 years, you're around $86,000. After 20 years, roughly $260,000. Now make it $1,200 a month. At the same hypothetical return, 20 years gets you into the neighborhood of $625,000. Nothing dramatic happened. You simply stopped allowing every income increase to become a lifestyle increase. That's when leftover money stops looking like money you failed to enjoy. It becomes future optionality. And optionality is one of the least visible forms of wealth. It lets you wait, leave, move, take a risk, help someone, make a mistake without destroying the next year, turn down a bad opportunity, take a lower-paying opportunity that might lead somewhere better. You don't need millions before those advantages begin. You just need your life to stop consuming everything you earn. So if you want to create more space, don't start by making yourself miserable over every tiny purchase. That's where personal finance advice often gets backwards. Someone has a house stretching the budget, an $850 vehicle payment, and thousands in revolving debt. And we're discussing the $5 coffee. Fine, look at the coffee eventually. But first, look at anything that automatically gets access to next month's money. Housing, vehicles, debt, financing, insurance, recurring convenience. Then, ask a much better question than, can I afford this? Ask, if I were designing my financial life again today, would I voluntarily sign up for this payment? That's harder. Because sometimes the answer is yes. Maybe the neighborhood matters enormously to your family. Keep it. Maybe travel is the thing you care about most. Spend there. Maybe cars genuinely make you happy. Fine. This isn't about building the cheapest possible life. It's about refusing to make every category expensive. Premium house, premium car, premium travel, premium food, premium phone, premium subscriptions, premium convenience, premium everything. Do that long enough, and eventually your income has to remain premium, just to keep the machine running. A much calmer strategy is to choose where you want to be expensive and be surprisingly ordinary everywhere else. Then, define enough before the next raise tries to redefine it for you. How much house is enough? How much car is enough? How many services genuinely make your life better? At what point would another upgrade change the appearance of your life more than the quality of it? Because if you never define enough, there is no finish line. Every raise simply moves the goalposts. And then, something interesting happens when you finally stop moving them. Money gets quieter. The mechanic calls. You hate the number. You pay it. The insurance renewal jumps. Annoying. You adjust. Someone in your family needs a last-minute flight. You book it. The boss starts acting as if everyone should feel lucky just to be employed. And suddenly, you know something your employer doesn't. You have choices. Nobody sees that from the outside. There is no logo for it. No luxury badge. No photo worth posting. But problems stop turning into crises. Go back to 7:08 Thursday morning. $8,740 lands in the account. For 3 minutes, it looks like a lot of money. Then, payment after payment removes nearly all of it. And at 2:17, a $2,900 transmission repair turns a six-figure household into someone looking for financing. The problem was never that they earned too little. They earned plenty. The problem was that almost every dollar already had an owner before life had a chance to surprise them. That's the part of wealth we rarely see. A bigger paycheck can make your lifestyle look richer. But the part of your paycheck your lifestyle does not require is what makes your financial life harder to break. Protect it long enough, and it becomes savings. Savings become resilience. Resilience becomes investments. Investments become choices. And eventually, Those choices give you something far more valuable than looking successful. They give you the ability to decide what happens next. That's what real financial freedom starts to feel like.